because you are anyway not happy with the thing you are already doing, right? It's not like I never made reels, right? I was never been on TikTok, so I was not into that stuff. Oh my god. I just kind of, thought that okay, this is something which I'm looking for, and now kind of being a little stable.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the podcast. And today is a very special one. We have Ayushi with us, who I'm just gonna get on the screen in a minute. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the podcast again. And today we're gonna have a awesome one for sure. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. She works at Sharechat and she has done engineering, and we're gonna talk about a lot of shit around that and her experiences around Sharechat design and her journey in design. Welcome, Ayushi. Just let me just get you on the screen. Welcome. How's
Hi,
everything going?
hi, Abhay. Thank you for having me. Everything's going pretty well. What about you?
All good, all good. Let's just, I really want to jump right into the podcast, but before that, can you just introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, sure. So, hi everyone. I am Ayushi, and I'm a product designer at Sharechat, and I'm based out of Dehradun. And yeah, so I hope I really get you some good insights about the company as well as my journey. Yeah.
Super awesome. Let's just start with a question that I really ask everyone about. What was your college experience like? I know that you have done an engineering, but what was it like, and how that college kind of impacted in your design career?
Um, Yeah, so my college was like good. I stayed with my parents only. I was a localite, so I did my graduation from Dehradun only. So the college was good. I while doing engineering, I didn't even have 1% of idea that I'll be moving into a design field, and I wasn't aware of that. To be very honest, I didn't know that this is a particular field that actually focuses just around design thinking. Where we actually solve things rationally based upon just code, without code. There's no coding required in it. So my engineering went well. I got my college placement from colleges. So, and then I worked for about a year with a really good company, and s- I got to know that this is not my zone pretty soon when I joined the organization. That this is not my cup of tea, and I'm not gonna enjoy it. If I really kind of stick to it, and I can't make a career out of if I'm not happy around it, right? So I was into front end development because it is a part of the engineering curriculum that you have to either try to make some projects. You have to present it. So within a team, I took that project and I started working on the front end part. And I just thought that this is only where we actually code and design things, where color comes, typography comes, and everything. So, but I was, not happy doing that as well. I was into front end, but not enjoying that. I was liking the theme of it, that okay, colors are there, it is something that I can design, but the coding part was actually killing the vibe of it. So I was not enjoying it. I just wanted to have purely focused thing where I can just, play around with colors, typographies, images. I can just don't restrict myself, don't bound myself to the code. So yeah, then
Interesting.
that's how
Interesting.
I started.
Interesting. I really want to know one more thing. So, when you were in college, I have heard from a lot of people on the podcast that when they were in college, kind of the clubs that they were part of, maybe engineering tech club or some other club, they kind of got the spark in them for design, like by designing posters or something creative. Was that the case with you, or that didn't happen with you?
No, no, no. In my college life, right, there was no part of me into design. It was like completely out of it. I was preparing myself to be a good engineer, but the reality is that in I feel in India, and I feel most of the people will agree with me on this, that whatever we being like taught right in the college, it's not the same as what we actually do in real projects and big industries and corporate. So that's completely different, where in classes we write 50 lines of code, but whereas if you go for interviews, for interviews you actually have to kind of be the best Like you have to cut all the lines of code, you have to give the best, whatever it is, you have to make things very easy. So that was no not a case for me. It just through front end I got to know about design.
Amazing. So how exactly did you got to know about, and when exactly did you got to know about design? And specifically, kind of how did you explore more to understand like there is a field like product or UX design which kind of can explore?
Yeah, so this was after I got my placement. I was working there, and initially, when you join a new company, right, you have given some days to understand what is going around. You are given trainings and courses to do. So at that time, I kind of did the courses pretty soon. So the training part, like it was for good 6 months because that's the probation period, but I completed it pretty soon. I started working on small project where I was just kind of debugging and understanding the code. So at that time I had really good amount of time left on me. And another thing was that I was working in the evening shift. So it starts from 3:30 in the noon and then stays up to 1 a.m. So that time between 10 to 3, I had really, utilized that in a very good manner. So accidentally one day I was just scrolling down on YouTube and searching around how to get good in front end engineering, front end development. Accidentally I got a video of Puneet Chawla saying that UI trends in 2022 coming. So I just saw that and I was like, okay, let's see what is it, what is UI trends, because UI resembles to front end. So I thought, why not to just give it a try. So from that, I just went through the video and he was continuously talking about UI UX. And I googled the term, I went through it, I read few articles it, and then I got to know that okay, this is a field which I was actually looking for, which doesn't require me to code anything, and I still can play around with a lot of things like colors, typography, and everything which I want to do without actually bounding myself to be a coder. So that's how I really got into design, and then I just started doing on my own. I start teaching myself design. So
Interesting. So basically, you are a self-taught designer, right? Amazing. So let's dive more into your engineering job that you did at first. How first did you ever had to deal with any designers there? If that was the case, how was your experience?
um, in that company, right, the project I was aligned to, it was completely back-end project. So there was not even a bit
Okay.
of UI there. And whatever it was just based on testing purpose. So whenever we used to deploy something, we used to kind of test it on a dummy server sort of thing, where it was like very, very, like we call it very vanilla, right? It was
Hmm.
just HTML boxes, not even proper buttons. It was HTML CTAs that are there, just yellow. I remember it because the theme was orange and white. It was a whole white and like orange that was really pinchy to the eye. It was nowhere a good UI and having good UX around it. So absolutely no connection or no contact of talking to any UI or UX designer there. So, but I started searching for similar field people in on LinkedIn. So I sent connection requests to few of good people around in the field. Like I just wanted to know what is the field. If I'm engineer, I don't have a design degree. How do I actually move in this field? What are the things that I should do? What are things I should not do? How to just get a planned way of doing things. So I started seeing YouTube videos or whatever free resources that are available. So yeah, but with the company there was no contact for UX designer.
Interesting. So, how kind of Sharechat came into picture? And obviously, you when there would have been a time where you kind of decided that now you have to shift to UX design. How did that journey go to deciding to the factor that now you want to shift to design from this job?
Okay, so yeah, this is not like this was not tricky for me to kind of assess myself that whether this is something which I want to make a career out of it or not. I just started connecting all the dots, that what I want, what I was good at, what I was wanting from my childhood. I was good in drawing, not in like I don't like sketching or something, but yeah, mandala arts and all those things. So I thought that okay, that is something I know how to draw at least. If not a good design, if not a good artist or something, I know that I am like, I feel that I'm pretty good with colors. I know which color will go with what. So a pretty decent information about it, not like a professional, but yeah. So I started, connecting all those dots. What I want as a, as a person, and what job will suit my need, my requirement, my what thing will make me happy and satisfactory, that okay, I did that and it's making me happy. So that's how, I kind of assess myself that okay, this is the high time now, you should start putting your efforts here, because you are anyway not happy with the thing you are already doing, right? So I thought okay, isko start karte hain, let just put everything you have good amount of time, that is true. You are working from home, you don't have to worry about other things, that is another thing. So I just took that as a plus point. I utilized time, I made timetable, I went through all the free resources. I also took up Google Coursera course. I completed in 3.5, 4 months around, and made like good projects here and there. Not like very beautiful looking projects. It's just to get something on my portfolio, because in the process I got to know that okay, portfolio is something which is really important if you really want to get a job in this field. So to create portfolios, I took some good projects and I started applying to companies just to
Okay.
assess myself that whether I know something, or is it just the bubble I am, that okay, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. So I really wanted to assess myself that am I ready for a job, or shall I prepare more. So I started posting my resume everywhere where I see posting, whether it's agency, whether it's a startup, whether it's an MNC, anywhere. Even I tried in my previous organization as well. Initially, it was full of failures. Resume was not getting selected. My portfolio was not liked. I was not getting any replies from the HRs. But gradually, when I, kind of, I what I used to do is I used to ask the HRs, kind of ping them on LinkedIn, ask them what went wrong. What do you think? What I should improve? What can be done? So not everybody used to reply, but few of them used to reply. And also with kind of mentorship, I got few good people in my circle that really helped me grow where I am right now. So they also helped me a lot, starting with this, improvising my process, updating my skills, being up to date with whatever I'm doing, being very active on LinkedIn. Gradually, I my resume started getting shortlisted, and then company like Just Pay, Paytm, Meesho, other small startups like uh, Power Play, Wheels Eye, all these companies really gave me offers. And then Sharechat happened. So I was like very happy, when my resume is really got shortlisted. I got interview opportunity with such companies. So that is how I finally landed a job at Sharechat. It was like a very hit and try kind of a story.
Interesting. I think that's what a lot of people, like obviously the budding designers, would have been doing right now. I would really want you to go a little deep to understand. Obviously, you would have gotten feedback from like HRs or managers, whoever would have been kind of shortlisting that. Uh, what what kind of the key takeaways that you took from those, and if you can generalize and give it out to the users here so that they can understand what are the important factors they should consider in your resume, or like way how they can get shortlisted.
Okay, so one thing that I personally have noticed that it's not about the years of experience, and I also have read about it, have seen a lot of YouTube videos that people say that this is experience level job, I should not be applying that, it's 1 year experience, it's 2 year experience, I won't get shortlisted or something. It's the experience is just a bar to kind of filter out people, that okay, it's good if you have this much, but at the same time, if you have those capabilities, if your resume and your portfolio talks a lot about your work around the requirement, around the job description, they will obviously connect with you. HR will obviously call you. They'll at least try to understand, is it something, are you competent enough to be in this job? So they'll check. But it's not like that you go and apply for a manager post when you're fresh. That's not a case. But yeah, if you think that this is something which is related to your portfolio, you have done something around it, and you have those skills that are mentioned in the job description, that is something you should always try. It's not like that you just stay behind saying that it's a two year experience job, I should not be applying it at a fresher. Because I also have seen people. One of my friend, he applied to Lenskart, and he said that the job specifically mentioned you should be having 1 to 3 year of experience, even though he had no experience in the field. But he is working at Lenskart. Similar what happened to me. Job was saying that 1 to 3 year of experience, but I'm working as a product designer there for the past 6 7 months, right? So it's just to filter out whether you are really a perfect fit for it. But at the same time, if you have those skills, and during the hiring process, if they see it, they'll obviously gonna pick you up. And yeah, apart from this, you always should, keep your skill upskilling yourself. You should be ready to learn at beginning of your career, even whether it's designing, whether it's anything, whether you are looking for data science or any other job. It's a key requirement that you are there to learn. You take the feedback really as like, something to learn from. It should not be like that, okay, he said me that, she said me that.
Mhm.
It should not be the case. You should actually take that feedback in such a way that it can make good out of it. Yeah.
Super interesting. I think that really helps out a lot of people. A little, I want to know. Obviously, you would have gotten rejected from a lot of companies, and obviously accepted from a lot of companies. Why did you choose ShareChat? Obviously, compared to other companies.
Yeah, so this is something, I don't have a clear cut answer to it why I chose ShareChat. But one thing is that I'm not a very social butterfly kind of a person. I'm not into social media too much. Yeah, I use them, but it's not like I never made reels. Right, I was never been on TikTok, so I was not into that stuff. But what ShareChat brings to me is like that counterbalance. If I'm not a very social media person, ShareChat is completely a social media, right? I'm helping out people to come there and get involved to the ecosystem, because ShareChat owns March, and there was G11 and other other small companies. So it's basically about social media. So my only encouragement to be a part of ShareChat was that first, it's a startup based company, so where I'll obviously get to learn a lot. And secondly was a team. Through the interview process, you actually get to interact with people, and it was like around good 4 to 5 rounds where I got to meet really good people, and that was another thing which really encouraged me to join the team. And another thing was that it was not just about execution in ShareChat. That they know that if they give you something, at the end of the day you'll execute it. But what they are giving as a company is that they're giving you advantage to grow, to actually learn, to experiment things. They won't resist you saying, they won't limit you to don't do this, you have timeline, you have this strict deadline. They actually give you time to grow. Yeah, certain time it happened that there are strict deadlines that you have to follow, but apart from that, the overall culture of the company was really good. And some this is something which I wanted to kind of experiment, that okay, will that work for me? Is it something where I can work? Because as I said, it's a counterbalance to me, right? So that was something, I thought that would be a good option for me, and I feel that I made a right choice. Up till now it was this. Yeah, but yeah, let's hope for the same in the future as well.
Super interesting. So how ShareChat been so far? Like, what kind of work do you do? How's the team? How's the culture there? Like, how's that experience?
Yeah, so that the work which I do is basically I design ad experiences. So we are in the revenue part there. So whatever comes to the company, we are the people who are getting it, right?
Hmm.
So for the initial 6 to 6.5 months, like till 1 month back now, I was working with the ad experience. team purely, but within ad experience there's another pod which is purely focused for user data collection. So that is something which I recently got transferred to, but that is something which is more around creating better solutions, that how you actually fetch user data rather than just doing data analysis just like other big brands are doing. So we are not just gonna do that. We'll actually ask users, we'll show them what you'll get if you will provide us such kind of information, right? So the overall experience about the company, about the team is really good. People are really supportive, they understand and they value design. So even developers, even the product managers, everyone is there. They'll come to you, they'll take your opinion. It's not like that they'll just feel okay, they are just designer, what difference they make. They really actually value your skills, and they know how important it is for a brand, for an organization to grow, and what a designer brings to the table when it comes to investment and return. So yeah. So uh, in and all it was really fun till now. And but yeah, sometimes ups and downs comes, and yeah, it's the part of your learning. But yeah, company is good, and I really got to learn a lot of things.
Amazing, amazing. So we are just coming on the some of the last questions that I ask on people on the podcast itself. One of the questions that I really ask is what's like you have been doing so well in your career. So what's next in your life? Like what's next for Ayushi?
Oh my god, I just kind of, thought that okay, this is something which I'm looking for, and now kind of being a little stable here. But future, yeah, I'm just, focusing purely on learning right now. I just want to learn and be better at the field, because uh, being from engineering background, I always have mentioned that as a plus. Even in interviews, I've been asked questions that. What do you think, being from an engineering or non-design background, how will that impact your career? I said it will be a plus, man. Why it will be a minus? If I have something that I'm taking as a degree, and I have a passion. So with degree and with passion, I can bring a lot of changes. Being a designer, I have that thinking, but at the same time, that engineering which will help me is that, will that be feasible to actually develop? Because there are sometimes, people say that dribble se copy kar lete hain, or this is something which we should do, but whether is it completely feasible to design or not, this is also we need to check, right? So this is something. So what is next for me is, I would say, a lot of learning. For sure, I would want to learn a lot of different skills. I want to know, want to learn illustration. I really like it. I want to just understand how people draw those beautiful things just using tools, not just pen and paper. And also just want to meet a lot of new people in the team, want to know about their journey, want to meet people from like similar background who have been an engineer and non-design, from non-design background, and how they came into design, what was their story. So meeting people, knowing their perspective, and actually learning things, I feel this is something how we actually grow. It's not just isolation, and design is for sure is not an isolated thing. You have to be collaborative, you have to go out. You can't be in your zone sitting at home saying that okay, I'll achieve everything. You should be creative in a term that okay, people see that you are into some creative field, because otherwise what will be a difference between a you know person who's just coding for 20 to 24 hours, and a designer who's making beautiful and aesthetically pleasing design, which are at the same time are very rich in experience, and actually involving user as front and center. So there are two different things, so we have to look like that. So yeah.
Super interesting, and I also agree with this point, like being creative and how a person or a designer can explore can grow. Like obviously in early careers, it's important to grow. And one point I really agree, upskilling is a for sure. Like there's no point in like you should stop upskilling. But I also love the point you said about networking and kind of knowing other people's stories, because that's how you learn how they did what they did and how exactly you can do it, or what can you take from their journey. And to be honest, that was the purpose of these podcasts, to kind of get people's journey out, and so that people can kind of relate to that and kind of understand how they did that and how they can do it as well. uh, so one of the last question that I really ask everyone here is, what will be the one piece of advice would you take from your journey as a designer and give to a budding designer out there?
Mm, it's a bit tricky, but I would say, you know, for a person who's from design field and who's not from design field, balancing out things is very important. Like, if you know something, it's good, but relying on that particular belief or that particular idea for a very long time is not gonna make you sustain in the career. It should, you should be ready to learn as well as to unlearn a lot of things. Like, even this is something which I am right now doing. I am unlearning a lot of engineering stuff that I did and learning in design. And similarly, I won't say that I just keep on unlearning in design engineering. Going forward, maybe in future, I would start unlearning few design things that I've learned and start taking new skills. So it should be always a balance, right? It should not be like I have a certain belief. I this thing worked for me, and I just blindly trust on something, and it will keep on going well for me. You should always be ready to experiment, to learn, to actually go out and have feedback and have constructive feedback. And sometimes I get bit of criticism is also good, not like too much that make you feel depressed. But yeah, if you know how to balance everything out and at the same time be confident about what you have, what you know, and what you are capable of doing, believing in yourself as well as keeping yourself out there in the market, not being in just isolation. I think this is something which would really help anyone to grow in their career, I believe. Not just being a designer. To a designer specifically, you should try to upskill yourself with design. Be updated with whatever new UI trends are coming on. Keep on reading a lot of things, consume a lot of content, go through different websites, check out different apps, take up any course. It's not like that taking course is bad. Just relying on that one particular course that I learned this and this is something which I know. No one's gonna excel anything, even if it's a manager, it's the director of design, or it's anyone. Nobody has 100% of everything. There's always 99.9%. There's just 0.01% gap. But it's good to just keep pushing yourself to kind of get through that 0.01% of gap. So yeah, I would say this is something even I am trying to follow, and I would say to anybody who's watching this should actually try and follow.
Super interesting. I think one thing I really want people to get out of this is about on learning and learning. As we talked about, like upskilling is way too important. Like in whichever position you are, like you have to upskill yourself, or how are you going to survive in this world. But one thing I really loved about on learning is that, especially for designers, that they sometimes, a lot of designers have a notion of a specific thing, and when they're trying to kind of build the experience around it, they kind of make that notion kind of overpower other data or other feedback. So I think that is something that we have to find the balance in, to kind of understand more beliefs, more feedback, more perspective about that particular thing to kind of get to the right experience. That's what I want really people to kind of get out of this. Uh, and Yeah, that's it. That's it, Ayushi. I think it has been a super amazing podcast. I think people are gonna get a lot of uh, kind of things around this, about learning, unlearning, how to balance things out, about how kind of getting your first design job, uh, that experience looks like, and how kind of you can make it better, make yourself stand out and make yourself better. Super awesome, Ayushi. Anything that you want to say before we end this?
No, I just want to thank you for getting me here, for inviting me to this, and I hope that I made some kind of difference, or I gave out some help to people. And if anything, anyone ever wants to come and ask, I'm always available on LinkedIn, and you can always reach out to me. So I'm very happy to help. I know how what it feels when you just ping someone and there's no reply. To just kind of ghost you. I don't feel like doing that. I always try to reply each and every person I get messages on LinkedIn. But if not, I always try to kind of meet in person people a lot of times. So yeah, and thank you so much again for getting me here, and really enjoy talking to you.
Super awesome. I think for sure I'm gonna link your LinkedIn down in the description for anyone who wanna reach out to you. And obviously, as I said, this has been a wonderful podcast. So thank you everyone. Thank you Ayushi for coming here and sharing everything. And yep, super awesome journey. Thanks a lot for everyone watching. Do reach out to Ayushi if you have any kind of doubts or anything you want to reach out to her for. And see you guys in the next one.
Bye.